share the details of what they had to escape to come here, gunfire and sneaking over borders, and they don't know the name of the border and they don't know who the bad guys were. They're just a scary guy that came. They don't have the details.
But it's inevitable because humans are curious animals, so they will stare and they will pull attention to you, even though it's just by curiosity.
It wasn't a short, it didn't happen overnight.
No, it didn't.
This book took several years.
2 years of Saturday morning meetings between the three of us to put this all together.
I'm here today with two amazing women, and the first is Gina Lewis, who wrote this awesome book, and the second is Marti, who represents a lot of writers in town and is a publisher of these books. And
Yes.
I want to talk with both of you today to hear your stories. And Gina, first, tell me about this book. This is amazing.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me here. This book was inspired by the students that I've had the honor of working with throughout my career as an English as a new language teacher. I have worked with students from all over the world that have just been the most inspiring people I have ever met in my life. They're brave, they are resilient, and at the same time they're just silly, mischievous children, which is just incredible that they can pull that off after escaping from what they had to go through.
So, Gina, how did you come up with the idea for this? You said you work in a school that has a lot of refugee children in the classroom?
I do, and this book really came about because every once in a while in the classroom we're able to have these incredibly unscripted moments where you kind of just let the children have a conversation, and sometimes they start sharing stories about their lives, and you get this sort of peek into where they're coming from and how they ended up here. And I had a few of these moments where a child would share their story, and sometimes it would get a little bit dark, and they would share the details of what they had to escape to come here, gunfire and sneaking over borders, and they don't know the name of the border and they don't know who the bad guys were. They're just a scary guy that came. They don't have the details, but you would see these little this fire being lit inside them that somebody else would connect to their story. Somebody else would say, I went through something similar, or I came from the same country, or and you would see that this burden was sort of lifted off of them because they were able to connect with somebody else. And a child who had never experienced anything like that, you would see this empathy and this compassion for understanding what their classmate went through.
And this was something that happened over the course of working on the book. It was a discovery that we all jointly made, that it had to be 2 books in one. So it's 64 pages instead of 32, which was what we originally started with. But this is the first front cover, and it represents the refugee children from all over the world. But if you flip the book over just like that, you have the other front cover, and these are the 5 receiving students in all of their diversity. So it literally reads from one side and then reads from the other side, and you end up with the centerfold, which, because we live in Buffalo, we modeled after the Peace Bridge. And it is these children all together.
There's the bridge, okay.
We build bridges, not walls, So,
I love that.
This is your new home. Here we don't build walls, we build bridges. And it reads from both sides. Maria Jose Campos, the illustrator, is Peruvian. And she has been a new student, not knowing the language and experiencing some of what these children experience in different places in the world. She currently resides in Denmark.
Well, what I love so much about living in different places is getting to know different cultures, getting to know different people, and of course, growing in this ever-growing journey that I have by living in different places.
That's great. And I know that gave you a special place in your heart for this book, because to some extent, to a big extent, you know what it is to go to a new place, to a new culture, and to feel out of place at first until you get established and learn about the culture and how challenging that can be as a young person.
Yes, and in my case, well, of course, my mobilization was by choice, so it is quite different when one is much more obligated to move because of circumstances that are not because of one person, but because of, it could be violence, it could be politics, it could be so many reasons.
For me, empathy is the goal of the book, and that's why it had to become 2 books in one, not 2 different books.
Right.
Not just the receiving students trying to understand what the refugee students have gone through, but the refugee students understanding what it's like for the receiving students to try and understand how self-conscious they feel and how they came from a place of danger. And to have an opportunity to actually create empathy in children 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old at an impressionable age, it's not just going to be for the refugee students in the classroom, but they'll have the ability to be empathic, to have empathy in other situations throughout their lives. That's why I feel this book is so important.
I always, at the beginning, want to feel that I fit in, because I think it's a part of human nature to, fit in, be part of the group, be part of the crowd. But it's inevitable because humans are curious animals, so they will stare and they will pull attention to you, even though it's just by curiosity. So this double perception of that curiosity and what it entails is, for me, it's very, very interesting because I lived it.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I was afraid to wear my real clothes to school.
Please don't make my lunch anymore.
Come and join us. Let's play together. Welcome to your new home.
And it's important to note that while we do say it's your journey's end, part of the conversation we want to be had from this book is that it's the end of their physical journey from point A to point B, but the experience continues.
It's the beginning of the rest of their life.
And we have to acknowledge that there might have been there might be some trauma, there might be some suffering. We don't know. They're all figuring it out, and they're doing it, and they're breaking down the barriers and finding ways to connect.
Now, Marti, you have a publishing company here in town, in Buffalo, and you deal primarily with local authors, or is it solely with local authors?
In the previous incarnation of this publishing company, it was primarily Buffalo Heritage Press, and we dealt almost uniquely and solely, not only with local authors, but with local themes. However, over the past 5 or 6 years, and especially since changing the name of the publishing company to City of Light Publishing, we deal with authors and illustrators from literally all over the world, and this book is the best example. Gina Lewis, of course, is from Western New York and teaches here, but Maria Jose Campos is from Peru and lives in Denmark. So we're international now. We have authors in LA and Alabama, Chicago. We have a YA novel written by an author in Chicago, The F Words, very provocative, about social justice and writing poetry. Great combo. So we are less Buffalo now than we have been. We have the distribution that we have gets the book, all of our books, into bookstores and libraries throughout the United States, Canada, and Europe. And in fact, Hello is Hello, A Welcoming Story, Gina's book, is now being proactively marketed in the UK.
Now, where can people find the book who are out there?
My pat response to that is wherever books are sold. So you can purchase it locally in any bookstore, many gift shops, but you can also purchase it on Amazon if that's your choice, bookshop. You can purchase it at cityoflightpublishing.com, which we really love because our online sales site is postage is free. There's no shipping.
Nice.
Shipping is free.
So, and it isn't the big
Amazon,
online monsters. So again, City of Light Publishing.
cityoflightpublishing.com.
You can buy this wonderful book, no charge for delivery.
Correct.
And I encourage anyone with children to get this book and share it with their child, and teachers to share this in their classrooms. Thank you both so much. This is beautiful. I'm so excited to share this story today on Passionate Living because it's a perfect fit. It's using something that you're passionate about, following that passion, and then using that to make a difference in the world around you, which is what the show is all about, is to highlight people like that. And I just want to say thanks for everything the two of you do to make a difference in the world around you. It's pretty wonderful.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Passionate Living.
And join us every week on Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. on WBBZ, your true hometown MeTV station. Also, you can see us on YouTube at Passionate Living TV and on our website channel, passionateliving.com. And thank you so much again for joining us today. And remember to do something to relieve your stress and get a little physical activity, even if you're back east in the cold and the snow.
Yeah.
Rosina, what would you do to blow off steam?
Probably ice skating again.
Again?
Again.
You would go back again?
I would go back.
Oh my gosh, maybe we'll pull the cameras out again. Or maybe we'll do the bumper cars on ice.
That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. All right, that might be in one of our next episodes.
Yeah.
Thanks again, and until next week, have a wonderful, passionate, amazing week ahead.